What do you think of when I say the word palmistry? For many of you, it would be weirdly dressed people sitting in dimly lit rooms, peering into crystal balls and telling you that you have dark energy surrounding you, or that the position of Mercury in the sky tonight might affect you drastically. Now, believe me, my first impression was the same. But this was until I chanced upon a book called Kiro's Palmistry for All and decided to read it with an open mind. My reading, palmistry has got nothing to do with all of this. Hello everyone, my name is Ananya Anand and today I'm going to try to answer the question, is palmistry just a humbug? Now, you'll all agree with me that of all the animals, humans are the ones who use their hands the most. Hence, it is my belief that if we use our hands for everything, then we must be able to learn something about ourselves through them. Many doctors look at the hands of patients for symptoms that appear before they do on other parts of the body. An example of this is clubbing of nails, which is a symptom of various lung diseases, and the yellowing of hands, which is a symptom of the diseases of the liver, gallbladder, and the pancreas. Do you know how much you can learn about the character of a person just by shaking their hand? If the person's hand slips from your grasp, then beware, for such persons have a tendency to lie to and deceive others. If the hands are cold and clammy, it may be the sign of a sick or a very nervous person. If the hand is thin and frail, it belongs to a person with a weak constitution. Only a man or woman who gives a good strong grasp of the hand is confident and reliable. Shouldn't we pause once to consider whether the imprint of our internal organs, especially our brain, is there somewhere on our hands, palms, and fingertips? What if palmistry is used not to predict the future, but to predict the present character of a person and his personality traits? Yes, that's what we're going to do here today. We're going to study the basics of palmistry first and apply this knowledge to study the hands of some people whom we already know a lot about. That is, celebrities, politicians, and other famous people. So let's dive into the basics first. There are 7 types of hands in palmistry. Each indicates a natural inclination. The first is the elementary hand. In this type of hand, the length of the fingers is quite small when compared to the large length of the palm. Persons with this type of hand tend to do more physical work than mental work. The second type is the square or the useful hand. In this type of hand, when you closely observe, you'll see that the palm itself is shaped like a square. People with this type of hand are essentially practical and logical. The third is the spatulate or the nervous active hand. Notice the irregularly shaped fingers which are not uniform at all. People with this type of hand are generally very nervous and action oriented. The fourth, or the philosophic type, is thin, long, angular, and bony with knotty joints. People with this type of hand are generally very studious and are great readers. The fifth, the conic or the artistic hand, is always graceful looking with its gently pointed fingers. The possessor of this hand is sensitive to art and music and has an emotional or artistic temperament. In the sixth type of hand, the psychic or the idealistic hand, the fingers are a great more pointed than they were in the conic hand. Such people are very frail physically and live in a world of dreams and ideals. Sometimes a person may show the characteristics of more than one type of hand. This is known as a mixed hand. Now, let us use our knowledge on the types of hands to look at this one. Observe closely. You will see that the length of the fingers is quite small when compared to the large length of the palm. Also, the fingers are very irregularly shaped and not uniform at all. Hence, this is a mixture of the elementary and the spatulate hands. So, this person will use his physical self more than his mental self and will also have a highly nervous nature. This can come from being in a high stress environment. Doesn't that sound like an athlete to you? And this is the hand of none other than Michael Jordan himself. Now, look at the hands of three more athletes: basketball players LeBron James and Kevin Durant, and cricketer Sachin Tendulkar. Observe all of their hands closely. You will see that all three have a mixture of elementary and spatulate hands. Is it just a coincidence that four people belonging to the same profession have the same type of hand? Now, let us talk about a more complex part of palmistry, that is the fingers of the hand. Each finger is named after a different planet and corresponds to a different personality trait. The first is the index finger, also known as the finger of Jupiter. Jupiter stands for leadership qualities and ambition. The second is the middle finger, also known as the finger of Saturn. Saturn stands for fate and destiny. Third is the ring finger, also known as the finger of the Sun. Sun stands for fame. And the last, the little finger, is known as the finger of Mercury, which stands for business and commerce. I'm going to repeat all of them once again. Jupiter for ambition and leadership. Saturn for fate and destiny. Sun for fame. And Mercury for business and commerce. And now comes an important part of palmistry, that is the lines of the palm. Here, to simplify, I'm only going to tell you about four of the lines. So, the first is the line of head, which lies horizontally on almost the middle of the palm, as you can see in the picture. It stands for the intellectual side of a person. Just above it, also lying horizontally, is the line of heart. It stands for the emotional side of a person. Forming an A-like structure with the line of head is the line of life. As you can see, it goes downwards. And then, under the ring finger, which is the finger of Sun, is the line of Sun. As you already know, it stands for fame. So, three of the lines of the palm, head, heart, and life, respectively stand for mental energy, emotional energy, and physical energy. It is important to note that the longer the length of the line, the more is that quality in the person. Now, let us use whatever we have learned about palmistry till now to read the hands of some people. The hand in the picture belongs to famous Bollywood actor Amitabh Bachchan. Notice the beautiful conic or artistic hand with its gently pointed fingers. Also observe that the length of the ring finger, which stands for fame, is more than the length of the index finger. You can also see the clear and well-marked line of fame below the ring finger. This is famous Hollywood actor Brad Pitt. Though his hand is of the spatulate type, he also possesses a prominent ring finger which is longer than the index finger. This is actress Scarlett Johansson. She has the perfect example of a conic or artistic hand. Notice that she also has a longer ring finger. The hand in the photo is clearly of the spatulate type with its irregular fingers. But you can also notice the prominent ring finger. This is the hand of actor George Clooney. This is former Miss World and actress Aishwarya Rai. Notice that she also has a conic or artistic hand with a prominent ring finger. Now ask yourself this: can it still be a coincidence that so many actors have the same characteristic in their hand? The hand in this picture is of the conic or artistic type. To read this hand, we'll go by the sequence line of head, heart, then life. So the line of head here ends with an oval structure. This is called an island, and it is not a good sign. Its ending on the line of head signifies a mental impairment of some kind. Now look at the line of heart. You can see that it is not fully formed. This means that the caring or compassionate side of this person is not fully developed. Now look at the line of life. You can see that it ends with a cross. Crosses or islands anywhere on the palm are not a good sign. The cross at the end of the line of life signifies a violent death. Notice that this person also has a cross under his middle finger. Remember that the middle finger stands for fate or destiny. Therefore, this person has no control over his fate. This is the hand of dictator Adolf Hitler. Here is Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India. Look at his hand carefully. Notice the shape of the palm. It is like that of a square. Therefore, he has a square or a useful hand and is essentially practical and logical. Now look at the index finger and compare it with the ring finger. You will see that the index finger is much more prominent and therefore he has ambition and leadership qualities. Now look at the hand of Donald Trump, the President of the United States. You can see that he also has a square or useful hand with a prominent index finger. The index finger stands for ambition and leadership qualities. It is a characteristic that I have seen on the hands of many politicians and other leaders. We have now reached the end of this talk. Through the use of several examples, I have tried to demonstrate how palmistry works. And though I agree that this can all be just a completely big coincidence, the sheer data size and wealth of evidence suggests that it has some logic or pattern to it. I hope that I've managed to convince you today that palmistry is not entirely false and there is some scope for this practice. Thank you.